Let's proceed, sir. Moving on to the Pentagon, which is part of the American administration alongside the White House and the State Department, they all have their separate roles and responsibilities. We have heard a lot about them, especially recently, as there has been a series of statements coming from the Pentagon. These statements are aligning with President Trump's stance on increasing the number of troops in the region as a potential response against Iran. The Pentagon has officially announced that it plans to strengthen its military presence in the Middle East due to the rising tensions in the area, specifically with Iran. According to the Pentagon's plan, their strategy involves deploying additional fighter jets, air defense systems, and military personnel to the region. Officials state that the purpose of this move is to protect American allies and deter any potential threats. Security is cited as the foremost rationale behind these actions, as the United States aims to ensure stability in the region and prevent aggressive behavior. Additionally, another important factor is safeguarding trade, which has been consistently emphasized, especially given recent events in the Red Sea. The Pentagon spokesman clarifies that ensuring stability in the region also serves the purpose of protecting trade balance. In summary, the Pentagon plans to bolster its military presence in the Middle East in an effort to safeguard American allies, deter potential threats, stabilize the region, and protect trade interests. These actions are undertaken due to escalating tensions, primarily with Iran. The United States affirms its commitment to safeguarding the security of trade routes in the Gulf region. This declaration is further emphasized by the recent deployment of a second aircraft carrier in the Red Sea, bringing the issue to the forefront. President Trump's strong stance against Iran is evident through his vehement statements. In response, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader, has warned of a powerful retaliation to any potential United States attack. Iran perceives the increased military presence of the Pentagon in the region as a direct threat to its sovereignty. What will happen if he does? What will he do in return? That is a question mark, because we have seen a lot of things in the Israeli-Iranian conflicts as to what might happen in quotes. But I think America will never leave Iran alone in its circles in terms of using its malign influence, because it seems to need it here. It seems to need an enemy. 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 It seems to need an enemy.